Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. Today I am with Captain Subramaniam, known as Captain Subu. He is a warrior entrepreneur coach. He is an author of 2 books. His latest book released recently called The Warrior Entrepreneur. He is a motivational speaker. He is a naturalist. He also is a facilitator of adventure, birding, camping, and we can go on and on. He is a recipient of the Army Bravery Award, and he has 30 hobbies that he is actively involved in at the moment. Good evening, Captain. How are you?
Warrior, salute to you, Glenn. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. I'm fine and hope all fine with you.
Everything is good with me, Captain. It's wonderful talking to you. Captain, can you give a quick introduction about yourself? I think I've not covered all your attributes, I think, in my short introduction. So just tell me a little bit about you and your life.
A brief about my name itself is like a brief. Instead of Subramaniam is Captain Subu. Okay, I am typically from a village background. My parents, my father was a farmer, mother a housewife, and I studied in Tamil medium. And my ambition was somehow joining army as officer. Like whenever I see anything on newspaper, anything, even any board is written army or something like that, I get attracted with those things. So with that aim, I have grown up. I have no reason like why I got interested, involved in getting into the army. I don't know, but that was like in my bread, butter, jam, and blood, everything you name it. It's part of my life. That was ambition. I've grown up. I studied in a village school till 5th standard and a nearby town convent till my +2. I studied in Tamil medium. Then I realized, yes, to get into army or any competitive exam, English is a must, whether you like it or not, whether people accept it or not. There is a must. Communication is one thing which takes you to the next levels. So I took the risk of shifting myself from Tamil medium to English medium at the crucial time of +1, +2, where everybody goes from CBSE to state board to score more. I did the other way around, taking all the risk. Okay. Then yes, everything was going above my head. Even the basic things I couldn't understand the words in English. But then that's what I grown up and wanted to join the army. Then I shifted myself to Chennai with the various things. Probably that I will tell as a story the later part of our interview today. And then I joined the army. I was through the short service commission for 5 years. And after leaving the army, I worked in few industries. Like immediately after leaving the army, I was in one of the best 5-star hotels in Chennai. That time it's called Park Sheraton. It's like now it's Crown Plaza. For 6 years I was there. Then I was absorbed by a multinational company that is in the oil and natural gas industry. I had a stint of 4 years there, controlling the pan-India security and all these things. Then my friend started a travel company, travel and conference management. So he kept on pressurizing me, like, why don't you come join here? Because I practice around 30 plus hobbies. I am interested in traveling. I read a lot of history books, like all these things. So he was insisting, you join. Then we three, as a partners, we joined and started that travel company. So accidentally, I fell into sort of a training when we were organizing a trip for a group for training to Kodaikanal. So there I happened to take a session for them. Then it got into my mind. Then I was into various adventure activities and all. So I started my own campsite in collaboration with partners. We have a campsite near Vedandangal. It's around control 3 campsites, one here and one in Chidambaram, again my friend's campsite, and again one in Kotagiri. So basically I am into adventure, and I'm a bird watcher and camping and all. My main thing is I'm a warrior entrepreneur coach. That is my the niche and the core concept, Gren. This is generally a overall view of my this thing, from a village boy to a army of the stars on the shoulder. Now with the entrepreneur again on my head. Okay, a warrior on the shoulder and the entrepreneur on the head. Now I am heading for the as a warrior entrepreneur coach. Yeah.
Wow, that is one interesting story, Captain. I mean, I've heard of
Yeah.
full life, but you are definitely living the full life. As you said, having one hat on is already a difficult job. Having on two hats may be even a little more difficult, but having so many different roles and trying to execute so many different activities, and then maintaining hobbies as well as your business passion and also coaching is definitely a feat. So really congratulate you and really admire your vast skills and your entrepreneurial spirit as well.
Thank you, Gren. Actually, in fact, that is what gave me the confidence to get into this coaching. Like whatever the different experience, like made me to become a warrior entrepreneur coach. Yeah.
Yeah, that brings us back to the topic of warrior. So I've always been intrigued with the army, but unlike you, I never had the courage to take on that course of my life. But so tell me a bit of your army life and how has it influenced your decisions to really go there and actually play the roles that you did as an army major. I'm sorry, captain.
Thank you for giving a promotion, on-spot promotion from captain to major. I wish I have one more this thing as a major.
Thank you for giving a promotion from captain to major. I wish I have one more this thing as a major. Thank you for giving a promotion.
So the reality is that, like, see, it was, as I told you, like, getting into army is like, I have even in the interview when they asked me why you want to join the army, I said that, like, generally people give an interview answer, right? A ready-made prepared answer. I'm patriotic, this, that, traveling, adventure, all this. I said I really don't know, like, why it has come into my blood and brain. Why should I join the army? Some of like seeing something would have attracted me towards army. But what influenced me the most was, I think, sometime in 1980. I was in my schooling. Because that's the time the Prince Charles and Lady Diana got married. Okay, it was exactly, I think it was a July 31st or something, one day after my birthday or something. So that time there was no TV, nothing. Okay, இது எல்லாமே பாத்தீங்கன்னா வந்து எல்லா newspaper clippings அந்த இதான் வரும்போது a lot of things about Prince Charles, Diana, like the typical royal life, how they live. And if you actually see the royal life, most of them are connected to adventure, like playing polo, horse riding, archery, shooting, like different skiing. And when it comes to the different dinner setups, all these things really attracted me. But then it gave me one question, like, is that royal life only for the royal people? That I means financially rich people. Is it not for a middle class person? Okay, so that intrigued me. Like I was like pondering over how to, like, a person like me, a middle class person, how do I live a royal life? This thing. So that made me give me more this thing into getting into the army, because I know that in army there are different lives. Like you do so many. If you want, you can fly choppers, like different aspects, skills, and all these things. But getting into the army, okay, now I just introduced two things, because since we started with a warrior and an entrepreneur, there are two definitions for warrior and entrepreneur. So the general entrepreneur definition, as per the dictionary, anybody starting a business or businesses, first point, taking a risk, financial risk, and expecting a profit. There are three things connected to be an entrepreneur. Okay, generally, if entrepreneur, everybody thinks he should be a businessman. Yes, of course. But in reality, how I interpret that is, everybody is an entrepreneur. Okay, provided he gets into these three actions: starting something, taking risk, and expecting a result within a set time frame. It is not on a continuous this. So in that case, even a student is an entrepreneur and his business is studying. A teacher is an entrepreneur, her business is teaching. Like a soldier is an entrepreneur, his business is safeguarding the country. Like that, anybody and everybody is an entrepreneur, provided he fixes a target and goes attack and achieve it. Okay. Same way, A warrior is not a street fighter. He's not like just like gets drunk and gets on the street fight shouting always like a Mako. This nothing like that. A warrior gets scared when he needs to get scared. Like a typical example of warrior is a Chhatrapati Shivaji. I could never imagine any like a warrior in the world, like you can say Napoleon, like an Alexander, anybody the great. All these people are like comparatively nothing compared to Shivaji, who is our one like a traditional pride for us. The way he handled the Mughals and so many things, like a lot of attacks he made, he succeeded. A lot of attacks were made on him. He was succeeding in all these things. So that also is like he's a warrior. Like that, as a warrior, you know when to attack and when to retreat, when to be quiet, when to make noise, when to take risk. Like it is not that always you go come stand there and shoot. It is not that. So I'm combining these things. That means to be successful in life, whether it's business is nothing but life, life is nothing but business. You can't have two phases, one for life and one for business. We can say, but basically it is what you are doing. Whatever action you do, it is part of your business, part of your life. You should have a vision and a mission. So for a vision, you have to be an entrepreneur to what is achievable, what is successful, what is the trend. Like you have to use your brain, and most of the time the vision is made in the AC room. Okay, the air conditioned room with all the ideal situations. You make everything ready. But when you want to execute that vision into a mission, then comes you have to be a warrior, because what is planned may not happen on ground. The same thing, a lot of changes, undue, this you expect the unexpected, all these things come. So then you have to be a warrior to execute the mission, because that is what. And my joining army, now coming back to your question, is a typical like before joining itself, before becoming an official warrior itself, I was like a warrior entrepreneur. Because first thing is I studied in Tamil medium. Okay, I never had that English communication. I used to wonder how people talk, how the words come out of the mouth, like English words coming. Like I used to wonder. Okay, then the next is generally people you have to write the Union Public Service Commission. That's called Combined Defense Services exam, equivalent to IAS, IPS sort of thing.
I can hear you for sure.
This is a right, I was just telling 1 minute before, vision and mission. Okay, we are sitting in an AC room. Vision is very clear, but when you are executing it, lot of ups and downs will be there. You have to manage it. It is exactly what is I was telling a few minutes before. It's happening now here. Okay, and the same thing happened when I was a guest to one of the engineering colleges recently, 2 years back. When the whole auditorium was full and they were about to start, they put that the music then and the Tamil national song, okay, state song, and the system was not working. They did this from mobile, all these things, nothing worked. Finally, one lecturer came, one lady came, lecturer came. She started singing on the mic. It's done. So the skill is more important than the technology. So that is what a mission as a warrior you have to do. Okay. So coming back to this thing. So the basic qualification was a degree. Okay. So nowadays, I was telling the same thing. And nowadays, the children, when they are in the 6th standard itself or 5th standard, they know exactly what is the exam, how to write, what are the procedures, everything to join the army. Or even after joining army, what to do and all these things. But when I was there, even after completing my degree, to be frank, I never knew. I basically knew the outline. Okay, what are the exams, how to do and all these things, but I never knew the exact, they call that as a SSB interview, Services Selection Board interview. It is a 5 days, how to do that. But somehow I cleared the degree. And then my plan was shifting from my village to Chennai. Okay. And Chennai, then I joined a chartered accountancy. Okay. I told my parents that I want to go to Chennai, but actually, to be frank, my parents were deadly against me joining the army because we were the only son and I have a sister. Okay, a typical South Indian family. And I told them I want to do CA, Chartered Accountancy. Okay. CA, you know that now you can join any articleship and it's easy. You don't have to know formalities of joining and that. Because I got my MSc, but because of some strike in the university, I couldn't join here, though I got the seat for the MSc in Chennai. So the easiest way, I joined the CA. Okay, but in village, everybody knows whose son is who, what is he doing, everything. So as far as the village is concerned, I was doing chartered accountancy. But I was preparing, instead of when the CA people go for the mercantile law, this, that, all these things, I used to go with the competition success review, this book, that book, and all, preparing for the army exam.
Okay.
The army exam came, and I wrote the CDSC, UPSC exam. So nearly a few lakhs of people write, and nearly 1,500, 2,000 candidates get selected. So I was lucky enough, got selected. When I went there, okay, for the interview, then I realized somebody has to coach. Saw in the ad, somebody told me. I went at that time itself. I paid some 2,000 rupees something because I was desperately joining the army. He said, "I'll give you SSP coaching." I went there. Again, I felt he had a daughter. She was doing 10th standard. Okay, I had completed my degree. And every day when I go there, he used to give some topic. She asked me to discuss with her, like a group discussion. And I realized she was like a typical Navy officer's daughter. Her English language is much better than mine. Then I felt like I'm taken for granted. I said, instead of getting motivated, I was getting demotivated. Then abruptly, I decided, yes, in spite of whether I have paid or not, no problem. I'll move out of that. At least I have whatever confidence I have. Let me go and face it that way. But God was there. Like they always say that the positive energy you send, it comes back with the affirmation. Yeah. Again, I met one officer. He said, "I'll guide you." And he was a gem. He is a God to me, God to me. Even now, I don't know where he is, all these things. But he coached me just for 15 days. Then I went for the interview. And the interview process is, they do interview only for 15, 20 people maximum in each batch. So when I went there, it was in Bangalore. And I was told that last 3-4 batches washed out. Not even a single candidate got selected like that. And I thought, okay, don't know. And you go there, typically these North Indian people and all, they are typically, it is like the South Indian mentality and the North Indian mentality. They're very aggressive. They come, all like blah, blah, these things. But I was very quiet and I was just observing what to do. Okay, these are the people I'm going to compete with that. And of course, end of the 5th day, they selected only 2 people and I was the one among them. Okay. Awesome. Then came thank you. So then came the next stage of medicals. So medicals, what happened? I went there, everything. Finally, they rejected me in the medicals. They said I have glaucoma in my eyes. Glaucoma is like a pressure in the eyes. And that also they said it is there in both eyes. So there are 2 systems. One is a temporary unfit, one is a permanent unfit. They made me permanently unfit.
Wow.
Okay. And there is a procedure that you can appeal against that. It's like a systematic one. So in that case, they give 21 days. You go for a checkup, treatment, something. Then you can appear for the re-medical, and if you are through, you are selected. But I didn't know. When I was selected in the SSB, I was on the 7th heaven. Now I was in the depth of the Pacific Ocean. After the medicals, this thing. Then I came to Chennai. I checked with the local doctor. He said glaucoma, no pressure, nothing. Then I went to one of the best hospitals, the Vijay Hospital in Chennai. I was tested by the topmost, the optician, this thing. Then he also said nothing wrong. Then again went to a government hospital, Stanley Medical College, because there also I got checked because my cousin was there in studying there. That he took me there. There also they gave me a clear certificate. Then I was asked to go to Pune for a re-medical. So I traveled all the way to Pune. I again went there. The eye specialist checked me, and he said, "Subbu, you don't have any problem right now. Glaucoma is something, it can come to anybody anytime. So you may get it tomorrow, you may not get it also. But since you are already told that you have glaucoma in both eyes, I can't overrule that." He permanently rejected me. I was in my tears. I just came home and I discontinued my CA because I never studied, opened my book for the CA, but I didn't know what to do. So immediately, like a warrior, you have to be a warrior, right? So immediately I saw one course, there's a foreign trade management, okay? Yeah. Like an export import, that's some 6-month certification course or something. I thought I will do that, get into some sort of export, something like that. In the meantime, few people are telling me, why don't you appear again like that? I said, they already rejected me. And it's already time, energy, money, everything like that. Because first time they pay you for your travel, everything, stay, everything. Second time, they don't pay you for the travel. Of course, you're staying with them. But somehow insisted. I also thought, okay, again, I'll write. I was sure shot that I will not be selected in the written exam itself. Because again, some 5, 6, 7, 8 lakh people write and you getting selected. Fortunately, I was again fortunate. Unfortunate, I was selected. I couldn't even believe me.
Wow.
And I was again called for an interview. I was called for the SSB interview. This time it was in Allahabad.
Okay.
Then I was thinking, hey, yeah, you go all the way, they are going to reject. Okay, what is the purpose? Then it struck me. Okay, only travel I have to spend. Okay, stay, everything is free. At least by spending the train ticket, I can see Allahabad and come back free of cost. So
That's a
I
good
went
way of
there.
looking at it.
Yeah. Take the way it comes, you take it, move forward. So I actually traveled to Allahabad just to see Allahabad, Sangam, all these. You can see like Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Sangam, all this. You can see free food, free stay. Come back only to and fro. I went there again, like in a tough competition. This time also, they in my batch again, lot of washed out all these things. They selected 3, and I was one among them. And then I was okay, but then I was like, my real trauma started. Okay, now I know that once I go there, they are going to reject me in my eyes. Okay, and typical like a movie they show na, that only that the climax will come only at the climax end. So everything was done except the I was like pending. In that 5 days, the last was I was like, but like a routine. It is nothing like in a planned way. Whichever doctor is free, they send the candidates to those places. So went there, and he checked all the only I and ENT were left. So I checked. I was with whether pressure in my eyes or not. I had a pressure all over my body. So when there, he checked. He said, "You are perfectly all right." Because in the form itself, I have written I was rejected earlier. But they have done that, and I was jumping like anything. Okay, now it's through. So my final was the ENT. I went there, and it was a peak December. Okay, I went there with a single sweater, all these things. Probably I got cold or something. He said, "You are temporarily unfit
Wow.
because you have some sinus here, some mucus collection here." And so temporary unfit is generally like a fit. Okay, it is not fit. Again, they give the 20, 21 days, and you can go take treatment and appeal. This time you don't have to go all the way to Pune. You have to go to any nearby medical military hospital. So I came back. I did all the this thing. But what do? They puncture your this thing through the nose. They puncture into the this thing. They pump everything out. They clear it. I did everything. And typical, I went to Madras military hospital. Again, they did everything. Finally, they said, "You are rejected. And you are rejected
Wow.
permanently."
Wow.
And the procedure is, the worst part is, it is not that when I'm rejected, it is a typical army this thing. So there is a procedure. You have to meet the commandant of the hospital, and he will read, "Hey, Subramaniam, these things," and I'm announcing that you are rejected like that.
Okay.
So I went there. He did everything. He said, "Sorry, you are rejected. Permanently unfit, rejected." But my real journey started after that. Okay, at that moment, just to console me, okay, just to pacify me, he said, "Son, don't worry. Only fools join the army. Hey, don't worry," like that. But it really struck me, and I don't know how I got the courage. Like a guy, a colonel rank or something. I didn't even know the ranks that time. With a uniform, like at a huge hall, I was standing alone with these people there. I said, "Sir, can I say one thing?" Yeah, please. I think you have to take back your word. It is not fools, only fools join army. You say only fools join the army medical service. Not the army. Don't generalize army. And he got shocked. Like he said, this guy, he is not even into the army. He said, telling on recruit, not even this thing, telling on my face, I'm commanding the hospital. He's telling me that fools join army. No, how can you say that? Can I take another 2-3 minutes? Yes. See, then I narrated the whole thing. I went to this thing, Bangalore for this thing. Then I said, "Your army doctor rejected me for my eyes." Okay, then I came to Chennai. I checked with 3 best doctors. They all said nothing wrong with your this. Okay. Then again I went back to Pune for the re-medical. Your medical doctor said I was unfit for in my eyes. Okay. Okay, I understood, no problem. Again I went to Allahabad. That time your medical doctor said I was fit in my eyes. And your medical doctor said I was unfit for my nose. That your previous medical doctor said I was fit in my nose, ENT. Within 6 months changed. Then again like that. He said he was listening to everything. He said, sorry, like it is a procedure. I can't help it like that. But you won't believe that, Gren, within another month or so passed, suddenly I got a telegram from the army headquarters, probably the first time in the history of army. I don't know. They said, you come for a complete re-medical checkup to Pune. So again, I went to Pune, but I was 100% sure that I will not be selected. So I went to Pune again, and then I had to undergo the whole medical again checkup, everything. Okay.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, what happened, because this time I was rejected in my ENT, they said the ENT advisor is in Bangalore. Okay. You have done all these things for your ENT. You have to go to Bangalore. He will check everything. He'll give the report. Then you have to come back to Pune, and then we will give you the final report.
Okay.
So everything at my cost, the travel. So I told, there is one lady officer, I told, madam, I touch your feet. Okay, I don't want to join army. Even if you tell me you are recruited, selected, everything, leave me this system. I really don't want, because I don't know. Probably now I feel that everybody, only fools join the whole army. I don't want to be one of those fools in the group. Please leave me. But again, okay, she said, hey, Subbu, where are you coming from? I said, I'm from Chennai. Where is Bangalore? Close to Chennai. Do one thing. You go to Bangalore. You do the checkup. Okay. If you are selected, you are happy, you come back here. If you are not selected, don't open your mouth. Don't say anything. You are not in the army. Okay. You are still a civilian. You say you're coming back to Pune, you just vanish from there. The army has plenty of work, not to go behind Subramaniam to search for the thing. You are not a deserter or something like that. I felt, okay, that is a fine negotiation. Thing. They went to Bangalore. Every day I used to go there. Whether my file has come, they said, if your file has not come from Pune. Because my uncle was staying there. So I used to take their cycle, my cousin's cycle. I used to go there. Okay. One day I went there. Suddenly he said, your file is there for last 4 or 5 days. Where were you? I said, sir, I'm coming every day. You only said file has not come. Okay. Then they checked everything. Then I was standing in front of the advisor. So he has checked everything. Then he said, hey, Subbu, we need to do a puncture. Okay. So she thought I didn't know that thing. Probably if I do that, I clear that, I like, no, probably you'll be selected. So when do you want to do that? I said, sir, now. You bloody, you are ordering me now? Because in army only we order, from outside army you are ordering, now you do that. No, sir, I'm so keen, interested. Today, tomorrow, now, anytime I am ready, sir. He said, okay, what about you inform your parents and all this? No problem, sir. They all know that they all here. I just told them, they all are here. My cousin is there outside, like that. And immediately I was taken to that theater, puncturing done, all the plaster is put. I took the cycle, came back. My auntie was shouting at me, you never told me. And they were waiting. I went in the morning, I didn't come in there till evening. Only I went back. So finally they said, okay, you are clear. You go back to Pune. Then I went to Pune. And finally they gave me fit. Then I joined the army. That is a big story. But the other thing is, after joining the army, okay, after joining the academy, the officers training academy is the second toughest army training in the world. The same training is given in Indian Military Academy in Dehradun, 18 months. It is compressed and given in 11 months approximately. So there is no gap for you to relax. They say, no, your mind, brain, body, everything is squeezed, and like, they take everything out of breaking your ego, all these things like that. So I was, the way, the enthusiasm I joined, okay, after joining, then I decided I will not continue for various reasons. Like, I had my kidney problem, like, I had a stress fracture, all these. Then I had to overcome that. In fact, I told my father to come and take me out of the army also. But thanks to one of my uncle Air Force, he stopped my father. He said, if you go inside, he'll run, he'll come out with you. Don't go. Go tell auntie that you come, met your son, all these things. He is fine. Now he decided to continue like that. You go, after a few months, he'll be all right. So again, like, of course, it's a matter of, because of my medical this thing, I joined my academy after 10 days. But every day makes a difference. I learned how to withstand that. So this is the beginning of a warrior's journey, then getting into the entrepreneur. It is it's part of it is a warrior entrepreneur's journey. Okay.
As I said, Captain, I think your life itself has been an example of how to be entrepreneurial. I mean, listening to the way you handle the situation, I think a lot of other people would have given up what they are doing and they would just accepted defeat and gone back. I think you have been showing the one is your perseverance and also show the spirit which an entrepreneur needs is never give up and keep trying again and again and again, and then you succeed.
Exactly.
That is your life is an example for that. This has been great, Captain. I think we have completed our half an hour for the day this time. So in our next session, we will go into the other facets of your book.
Yeah.
I've been reading the book that you have just published. For those who have not bought the book, I hope you can see this. This is a Warrior Entrepreneur book of Captain, and I actually sat down to just read a bit up for this FB Live, and I could not stop reading it. It has been so engaging and so well written. So, Captain, thank you for giving me the book. I think I'll finish it tonight. I can't sleep without finishing it. It's so interesting. And also, the way you've written it is very layman language, so it's easy to understand. So, really commendation on the great book that you've written, Captain.
No, basically, since I'm on the FB Live, I have written for every layman to read that. That's the reason I have put it in a normal. But in personally, I'll tell you, that's the only language I know. I cannot write a high funda English. I am a layman. I am writing it a layman, this thing. And in our future, this thing, we will now, it is, as I said, it's a journey. Okay. A warrior entrepreneurship it is not like one of those webinars or seminar. They say the 3 secrets to make money, the 3 secrets or 5 secrets to be successful. It is not that. It's a journey. Yesterday, you could run 16 kilometers. You may not run today. Okay, tomorrow, then it will be a different. Like it's a continuous journey. You have to adjust, and like it should be like a wave. You should go along with the wave. So next time we will see what all the qualities, the instincts, and the transformation and the traits required to be a real warrior. We'll continue with that, Gren. And it was really a great opportunity, and it was nice conversing with you. Of course, we have been discussing various things, but it is a great, it's a pleasure talking to you.
My pleasure, Captain, without question.
But we should thank all the viewers.
Yeah, I think we've had a bit of technical glitches today. They keep saying that they cannot hear us properly. I will be posting this video on YouTube, and I will share the link on Facebook as well, and Captain will also share it on his Facebook. You can see the recording of this on YouTube, where the recording is being done in another system, and it's captured both our audio. So I apologize for those who have not been able to hear what we've said or missed some of the audio or video part of this interview. So thanks for hanging in there and staying with us. And we'll be back next week, same day, same time. Next time it would be my turn, where I would be talking about business planning, where Captain would be the one asking me the questions, and I would be talking about how we use planning in life. We plan to do this series on alternate weeks, going with the warrior entrepreneurship model of Captain and my business model, which is Oliver Wright's IBP, and how we integrate both of these to make a holistic person as well as a overall profitable business. That is the goal of this FB Live we do every Thursday at the same time. So thank you for being with us, and thank you, Captain, again for your time. We'll catch up with you next week, and we'll take this forward and carry on with the series. Appreciate your time and your engagement.
In fact,
FB Live is done, Captain.
Yeah. In fact, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Glenn. And in fact, as a short introduction for the next week's